The Range Rover nameplate has been around for over 50 years now. This is Land Rover's crown jewel, and for those wanting a little more ruggedness and sportier drive, Land Rover introduced the Range Rover Sport 17 years ago. And now what we have today is the third generation of the Range Rover Sport. It's a lot more opulent, lighter, a lot more capable in every capacity, and definitely something that you wish you had in your garage. Hello and welcome to HT Auto. My name is Samir Contractor, and let's take you through the new generation Range Rover Sport now in India. Now, the most familiar bit about the Range Rover family is of course its design language, and with the new generation Range Rover Sport 2, it is a very familiar design language. Of course, it's a lot minimal like the new Range Rover that we drove some time back, and this one too keeps that brand ethos very much in place. It's a familiar grille, a lot cleaner, simpler than before, and a flatter upright front as well. The bonnet of course has more intakes, all blacked out. You get this nice satin finish that's specific to this trim, along with the black finish that gives it a more premium look, a very urbane look if you ask me. The other thing that I do of course like is that clamshell bonnet, very Range Roverish, very nicely done and very muscular in the way it appears as well. Now if you come closer, you have these air scoops here that do look nice, again with that satin finish that I really talked about earlier, and overall they add a nice touch to the overall design. But the big feature that I need to show you, of course, is the headlamp. These are laser lights. These are the advanced LED headlamps that you get on the Range Rover Sport, and they come with 1.3 million micro mirrors to give you different styles in terms of display that you get, as well as projection. So you have better throw of light, not only for you, but even in the high beam mode, it cuts away so that other drivers are not blinded by it. It's intelligent and smart at the same time. Move to the side and you will see bigger changes on a Range Rover Sport compared to the long wheel Range Rover. Of course, these are built on the new MLA Flex architecture, so they are lighter, stronger than before, but come to the Range Rover and it is based on the standard wheelbase version. Now that's very prominent once you see that overhangs have been extended as much as possible, and now they accommodate 22-inch wheels as standard. These are upgradable to 23-inch wheels, and you also have the option of 21-inch wheels if you want a little more comfort from the car. But compared to the predecessor, the wheelbase, that's now 74 millimeters, while the overall length of the new Range Rover Sport has gone up by 67 millimeters. And if you're wondering just how much of a difference is between the standard wheelbase Range Rover Sport and the Range Rover long wheelbase, that's a good 200 millimeters of wheelbase. Now just imagine, this of course gets the flush fitting door handles, that belt line receding upwards, and the door size. Compare that to the Range Rover, and this is a standard door size, but on the long wheelbase Range Rover, this is longer. It really extends further, so you have better ingress and egress on that car. This of course is more driver oriented, and that's why you have a standard wheelbase, a more compact car than before, but this is definitely bigger and wider, and that too by 226 millimeters. Well, move to the rear, and the difference between the Range Rover Sport and the long wheelbase Range Rover is a lot more apparent. The roofline is more sloping, slightly more aggressive than the Range Rover long wheelbase, and you also get this massive roof spoiler that of course adds to the sportier look on the SUV. And this also hides the rear windscreen wiper, which is a nice touch and adds to that overall clean design. Now let's just go a little further and give you a wider look at what the tailgate looks like. A nice raked windscreen. You have the nice bold Range Rover badging that I'm sure a lot of buyers do like. And overall, you get the Sport badge of course here. But overall, it's a nice clean design, very likable. And of course, you get the new tail lights as well. Now I'll just come closer and I'll show you what these are. These are surface lights. So what Land Rover essentially says is that these are visible no matter which angle you look at it from. And that really makes a difference in terms of both safety as well as the appearance on the SUV. Now this of course is the petrol powered version, so you get these actual exhaust tips finished with chrome, and these are specific to the petrol version only. On the diesel version, this will be a hidden feature within the bumper, and it's a cleaner design there. but here it's a slightly more sportier version. We'll come to the specifics later, but this of course is what the rear looks like, and that's your big giveaway. On the Range Rover, you get the hidden vertical lights over here. They go like this. This one is a wraparound LED feature, and the big difference. Now, while we are at it, let's just show you what the boot looks like. So, electrically powered tailgate. You do not get the split feature that you get on the Range Rover, but you get a bigger boot space over here. 55 liters more than before, and now electronically controllable as well. So you get buttons here to adjust the rear seats. Of course, this is a 5-seater, so you get buttons here that will push the rear seats, like the folding feature. In fact, I can bring that up again at the touch of a button. This used to be manual earlier, and that's a big difference. You also get a full-size spare wheel right under this. That's just one of the nicer features, and because this has an adaptive air suspension, you can lower it at the touch of a button. So yes, it goes down, so your loading lip is lower. You can tuck in the luggage easily and then raise it to tackle the bad roads. This is what the exterior of the new Range Rover Sport looks like. Now let's take you inside and show you what that opulent cabin is all about. Step inside the new generation Range Rover and you will see a better and a more familiar cabin, but this is more tech laden over the predecessor. It's very familiar to the Range Rover, and that's really a good thing because you get all the tech goodies and the features that you would want in a car this size. Very noticeably, you get the new instrument console. It's a nice digital unit, very nice to use, very nice to look at as well, and along with that you get a new steering wheel as well. Compared to the long wheelbase Range Rover that's on sale in India, this is a different steering wheel, so it gives this car, the Range Rover Sport, a unique character of its own. You also get these nice satin finished paddle shifters. Again, for those looking to drive this car themselves, very nice feature to have. But even overall the cabin, what it offers, it's nice and opulent, very driver focused, I have to say. Even something like this massive center console, a nice armrest over here, but you get an individual armrest of your own, both for the driver and the front passenger. And overall, the center console itself has been raised, so it's a lot more seamless to operate. So you get the new paddle shifter, you get the new gearbox knob over here, you get the start-stop button, you get this nice black piano finish on the center console, and still there are some feather touch buttons, and you get the push and pull feature, which is very specific to Land Rover cars. This of course helps you with your climate control, as well as seat ventilation, and this is in my opinion one of the nicer features that you get on the car, because it just adds a different look and different feel to the overall cabin. But the feature that I really want to show you is of course the new PV Pro infotainment system. This comes with a nice curved display. It's something we saw on the Range Rover, but I really think this will be more commonly seen on the new generation of Land Rover cars, and even on the Range Rover Sport it works fabulously well. The touch is easier to use, it's a lot more responsive, a lot more intuitive in terms of the features it offers, and nearly everything on the car can be controlled via this system. So you get navigation that's inbuilt. You also get an eSIM now on the car, so you get connected technology, of course. You get a 360-degree surround camera, so you get a nice view of what's outside, something I think a lot of buyers will like, especially maneuvering a car this size. Well, beyond that, you also get your off-road modes, you get vehicle dimensions, you get mood lighting, you also get air quality as a feature. So this can tell you that the Bombay air or the Mumbai air right now isn't that great, but within the cabin with a PM 2.5 filter, it really improves, and we get an ionization feature, you get a purifying feature. All of these actually help keep the cabin as comfortable as possible for its users. Well, beyond that, you also get 4-zone climate control. You get an adaptive cruise control feature as part of the ADAS features that this car has to offer. And of course, you get a lot of choices when it comes to leather. This one specifically comes with semi-aniline leather, but you also get Windsor leather on the base variants, and you have a lot more choices on the top variants as well. Now moving to the rear space in the cabin, and for those who want to be driven on the weekdays and maybe drive on Sundays, well, it's not as spacious as the Range Rover long wheelbase, but it is definitely luxurious and opulent. Now the most immediate change that you see over the predecessor is the improvement in space overall. Like we said, this is a bigger cabin compared to the older generation Range Rover Sport, and you immediately feel with the better headroom and legroom on offer. It's not a squeeze like the older version was, and definitely a lot more luxurious. You get these nice premium suitcase style grab handles over here. You get a new manual sunshade feature. This is actually electric on the long wheelbase Range Rover, so it's a nice touch over here to add. And you get these acoustic finish on the door pads. These are actually acoustic Meridian sound systems. So this is a nice fabric cover, and behind this is the speakers on this. So you get a Meridian sound system on this version. You get a much higher watt version on the Autobiography HSE variant of the Range Rover Sport. And you of course get a force-on climate control over here. So you have individual controls again with the push and pull feature that's specific to this car. You get 2 air vents over here. You get air vents on the side as well. Again, a very nice feature to have. And overall, it's a nice and comfortable cabin. And in case you wanted a little bit more comfort, this is a manually retractable armrest, nice and wide, one button, and you have your cup holders, and you also get some storage space here to keep your phone, maybe something else. And it's just a nice little feature to have. This of course is electrically adjustable on the Range Rover long wheelbase. It has its own tablet over here to control a lot of functions, but here it's slightly simpler in its usage, and I do like it, I have to say that. But overall, in terms of features, in terms of comfort, it's a far more luxurious cabin, and adding that tinge of space is of course that panoramic sunroof. Now before we talk about the specifics in terms of the engine options, let us tell you that this is a strict 5-seater. You get a third row option on the long wheelbase Range Rover, and that makes a big difference. Let's talk specifications on the new generation Range Rover Sport. It gets 2 engine options in India, the 3-litre turbo petrol with 395 brake horsepower and 550 Nm of peak torque, and there is the 3-litre twin turbo diesel engine as well with 345 brake horsepower and 700 Nm of peak torque. Both these belong to the Ingenium family, and they come with mild hybrid system as standard. Both these engines are also paired with an 8-speed ZF transmission that ensures power goes to all 4 wheels via the all-wheel drive system. On the Range Rover Sport though, you get an all-wheel steering as an optional pack as opposed to a standard feature on the Range Rover long wheelbase, and that really makes it an interesting thing. But of course, this is a standard wheelbase version, so you may or may not opt for that comfort feature in terms of drivability. Well, in terms of pricing, prices on the Range Rover Sport begin from 1 crore 64 lakh rupees going up to 1 crore 84 lakh rupees. The variants are limited but very well packed for anybody looking for a comfortable and sporty SUV, which is nothing less than a luxury barge. So this is our look at the new Range Rover Sport for India. Tell us what you think about it. Write to us in the comments. Reach out to us on our social media handles. My name is Samir Contractor. Thank you for watching.